All right. Welcome back to another episode of the All American Hoops podcast. This is episode 122. As per usual, joining me is my younger brother, Matt Driscoll.
Hey, it's always a pleasure. Sorry, guys, we're starting a little late. It's a hand up accountability, my bad. I made dinner tonight, got a little lost track of time, and then I ate a little slow, and then I sat down at the dinner table for a little too long. So it's my bad. Hand up accountability. I'll be better next week.
That's completely fine. No, I lost track of time as well. I was kind of still a little out of it. Yeah, I mentioned last week that I was sick. I'm like 90% right now. Yeah, I still have the cough, but still kind of out there, but all good. Also, John will be joining us in a few minutes. He's commuting from the city tonight, so that's why I'm back in my room. It's honestly better for the brand that I'm back in my room, but however, yeah, his room is much better with the lighting and everything. Plus I like having all my crap in my chair during the week, but so a lot of my stuff is just on the floor now, so that's not really good. But so anyway, before we get started, we gotta do our birthday shout out. So happy birthday to Sean Marion, who I feel like he has like one of the more unique careers of like I shouldn't say that unique. It's more so like the discourse around him is unique because people know how great he was, but I feel like the pure hoopers love him and like the analytics kind of like him, but like he was just a really good player. The other name looks familiar. I don't know if it's the same guy, but Emil Jefferson. I believe that's the guy that was friends with Tatum when he was at Duke, but could be wrong.
Celtics assistant coach.
That's right, he is. Yeah, I forgot about that. So now we're to baseball. The only one there is a Hall of Famer up there, but I wasn't familiar. The only name that I was familiar with was former Met James Loney. He was the first baseman in the Mets and one of like the 25 first baseman of the Mets in 2016 because that was the year that Lucas Duda got hurt. Football, we got a very stacked one actually. Happy birthday to probably a top 10. I don't know the list, but I definitely probably a top 10 quarterback all time. Some of the old heads would argue top 5. Johnny Unitas. To one of the more inspirational stories of all time, Alex Smith, and then to one of the better defensive players of the 2010s. That's Earl Thomas. He was one of the main pieces of the Legion of Boom. So, relatively stacked birthday in the NFL, but not so much for the NBA or the MLB. But you win some and lose some for sure. But anyway, before we we got a pretty good show ahead of us. Yeah, this is obviously the first time that we're recording since the Celtics lost. Unfortunately, I was going to do a show on Monday, but I wasn't really feeling the best. But we're not going to talk too much about the Celtics until the middle segment because we have a whole separate segment for that. We wanted to lead with talking about the playoffs now, just because that's probably what you guys are here for. And after that, we will be talking about Brad Stevens' press conference because that was a big story and one that's probably going to continue to be one of the bigger stories. Then after that, we have a fun hypothetical segment. You know me and my hypotheticals. So I'm really excited to dive into that. It's something that I've been wanting to do, and I feel like this is a good episode to do so. So without further ado, let's talk about the NBA playoffs. So I think we'll start off in the East. The game currently going on is the Cavs versus the Pistons. Pistons are up 54 to 43 at half. So I haven't watched a single minute. We were eating dinner, but it looks like Donovan Mitchell's leading the way with 12 points, 4 rebounds, 5 of 10 from the field, but 0 3 from 3. Strictly by score action, like I said. James Harden 8-4-1, Jared Allen 7-3, Mobley 5 points, 0 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals on block though. Not much contribution from the bench. And then on the Pistons side, looks like more of a balanced effort for sure. That's why they're winning. Tobias Harris leads the points for starters with 9 points. However, leading the points overall is Dennis Jenkins, who has 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. So he's
St. John's legend.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's completely killing Jenkins. It. And just overall solid effort from everyone else. Asar Thompson, 8 points. Jalen Duren, 5 points, 6 rebounds, and an assist. Duncan Robinson, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 of 4 from 3. And then Cade Cunningham, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 of 4 from the field. So this kind of good. It's kind of carrying on from the game on Tuesday nights. It's so far looking relatively one-sided, which surprises me, honestly. Like, and I know I'm pretty biased towards the Cavs, but I feel like it's not really biased to say that the Cavs matched up pretty well with the Pistons, given that Both of them are very good in defense, but however, the Cavs have fewer holes on offense. Pistons have like a Star Thompson, who's not a good offense player. So I was kind of expecting them to put Mobley on Thompson and then just have him be like the help defender. Um, I haven't really taken like I watched the game, but I haven't really like taken a good look at the tape there. So I don't know if that's actually what they've been doing. But whatever they've been doing has not been working so far. Donovan Mitchell has been, yeah, like I'll be the first to say it. He's been has a furthest thing from living up to expectations in the playoffs this year, and that's just been carrying over to the second round. Looks like he's playing better, numbers wise. He could be playing worse, but based on what I'm seeing, but yeah, the Cavs just aren't keeping up with the Pistons' physicality, is what I'm seeing. And if they want to turn this around, which they're like they're a veteran team, they definitely can if they wanted to, but they're going to need to. Yeah, they're going to need more. They're definitely going to need more of the superstar, but they're just going to need more oomph for sure. Like, yeah, because I feel like a lot of it really is the physicality. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I know you're a Donovan Mitchell supporter on this pod, and we are fans of him, obviously. Big Mets fan and everything. And but I feel like what is he on year 9 at this point? And he hasn't made a conference finals. I feel like the clock is kind of ticking with negative agendas going his way.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm not saying like there's a lot of times where the better team just beat him. Uh, but I feel like you said, the Cavs match up well with the Pistons. Pistons are a young team; they're inexperienced. They just had the one round last year. However, they're the 1 seed. I think the Pistons are just totally. It seems like the first 2 games. I know agendas and talking points flip after every single game. But it seems like the Pistons are just like you said, playing more physical than them and just totally kind of outclassing them. Um, I don't know where you go from here. Like, let's say the Cavs lose in 5. I believe the Pistons are winning this series. I think the Cavs will make it a series, even if they lose tonight. I think it will be a 6 or 7 game series. But where do you go from here if you're the Cavs? I mean, you kind of blew up the core already mid-season by trading Garland, but you did have struggles in the playoffs, and you decided to get James Harden. That really didn't make a ton of sense looking back on it now. Um, but what do you do from here? Do you just run it back with the same core with James Harden because you can tell yourself, oh, you only had a half a year. Let's see where it goes. Or do you really look at yourselves in the mirror and see like this team isn't going to win, this core isn't going to win. We have to blow it up and start over.
it's one of the tougher questions for sure, just because. Um, yeah, first I want to agree with what you said about Donovan Mitchell because like I'll continue to defend him because I still think he's a top 10 player. And most of the time most of the time I'll say he's lost to the better team. There's a couple exceptions here and there, like obviously losing to the Mavs without Luka was pretty brutal. Losing to the Knicks in pretty brutal fashion a couple years ago. Um, but um, but yeah, for the most part, I think he's been a very good player for us here. But however, the past couple of years, that just haven't really been living expectations like he did in Utah. But as far as it goes for where do they go from here, yeah, like a lot of it will depend on the results for sure. Because the easy answer for sure at first was, oh, you just got to trade Jared on and let Mobley run the 5. But Mobley's looking more and more like a stretch 4. Like he's not really physically built like a center. Like he's kind of more like he's more of like a Bam Adebayo guy where if you put him in like the right system with like defensive pieces around him, which like don't get me wrong, I still think he's a top 5, if at the very worst top 10 defender in the league, given his switchability and like his ability to like probably definitely like one of the 3 best in my opinion help defenders in the league. But at the end of the day, like yeah, if I were the GM, I would still say okay, let's just try to build around Mitchell and Mobley because they're yeah, frankly, as much as you can criticize them, like there are many players out there like them. I definitely overrated. I kind of I think I underrated Mitchell beginning of the year. I think I had him at like 12 or 13. But he's going to make second or 13 All NBA. Most people probably agree at this point he's a top 10 player. I had Mobley at like 15, and I know that some people were. I think that I'm actually pretty sure that ESPN had Mobley ranked ahead of Mitchell this year. Like they were expecting that big jump, and so was I. So obviously, I had him at number 15, but he's looking more of like 25 ish. I know that some people, I don't know. I shouldn't say some people. Like I think I may have heard like 1 or 2 people vote him all NBA, but like I don't think it's gonna happen. But um, and I don't know. Like maybe it's just a matter. Like I don't know how much worse he is, or it's just a matter of like he didn't live up to expectations. Because like yeah, there is still potential for Mobley to be a great player. But what is this year? Is it year 4 or 5 for him? He was drafted in 20. He was with Jalen Green and with
Cade.
Cade Cade. So that was 2021 or 2020? Apollo's 2022, right?
Cade's March
2021,
Madness was
right?
canceled because it was 2020, so that means he was
Oh, okay.
drafted.
Okay. So 2020. Oh, this year 6 for Mobley, really?
I think
Oh,
so. I mean,
okay.
maybe
Yeah. I think you're right. But yeah. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So year 6. So obviously, yeah. But obviously, like year 6 is different. So like he could improve, but like I don't think we can really expect the jump from him anymore, given that he's older, that he is getting a little older now, and
I
jumps
don't.
become jumps get harder to get harder and harder as you get older. And like, yeah, Chilltown usually says we know who you are by year 5, but and there are exceptions to that rule for sure. But usually by year 5 is when we know how good you're going to be. So, do I believe in
This is
Evan
his fifth
Mobley?
year, Chris. His
Absolutely.
first
Oh,
year was
it is
21,
okay. It is his
22.
5th year. Okay. So, um, hmm,
I don't know. I think he's still young.
yeah, he is. But yeah. I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess he was probably 19 when he came out. So yeah, 24 is still pretty young. But um,
Chris, I
I
have a fact about this Cavs team in this postseason, and I feel bad we're talking strictly about the Cavs. We'll get to the Pistons in a second here. Sorry, were you done? I didn't mean
no,
to
no,
cut
you're
you
good.
off. The Cavs, when they have 17 turnovers or less, they're 4-0 this postseason, and when they have 18 turnovers or more, they're 0-4.
Nice.
Last game they had 20, and they've had 20 two times this postseason, and games 2 and games 1 in the past series. Sorry, game 2 against the Raptors and game 1 against the Pistons. Um, Two pretty good defensive teams. Well, very good defensive teams. The Pistons are an elite defensive team. But you go out and you get a guy like James Harden, kind of hoping that he can control the pace of the game and take care of the ball. But clearly, we've seen time and time again that he struggles to do so in the playoffs. I think 45 games now, he's had more or the same amount of turnovers as made field goals. That's that Nick Wright stat.
Yeah.
Um, Donovan Mitchell is struggling to make shots and keep the ball in his hands. I think he going into tonight he had 123 total points this playoffs on what was it, 122 shots. Is that the correct
Yeah.
correct
Yeah.
stat? That's just a losing formula. You need your best players to
Absolutely.
step up. I know
Yeah.
Dean Wade has been like a demon this postseason. I'm a huge Dean Wade supporter.
Me too.
I think he's extremely underrated,
Mhm.
especially on the defensive end. But you need it's a make or miss league, especially in the postseason. Every possession counts, every shot counts, and when your star franchise guy is averaging a point on a shot, it's not a winning formula.
Most certainly is not. So, yeah, we'll have to see what they struggle there is. But yeah. We could definitely move on to the Pistons for sure because Pistons fell down 3-1 to the Magic, and they were getting every name called in the book. They were the 20. They were worse than the 2015 Hawks. They were just
The
not a
2015 Hawks get a bad rap.
they get a horrible rap. But yeah, like obviously going down 3-1 to this team that nearly got booted in the playing tournaments. Like they got embarrassed by the Sixers, um, and then like yeah, the score is tight multiple times. I think it was game 5. Game 7 was kind of a blowout, but yeah, like the Magic did have the chance to close it out, but the Pistons were able to fight back and win, and that dog is really carrying over to this series. Yeah, definitely want to give a ton of credit to JB Bickerstaff for sure. To be doing this against his old team is extremely impressive. I know, yeah, I know that some people said last year that like he obviously deserved a ton of credit for getting the Pistons from 14 to 42 wins last year, but but like still there were still some people, including myself, that's in the back of my mind. I'm like, yeah, like it's great that he like completely change this franchise to turn them into like a playoff team. But like I feel like he still might be pissed off that the team that he coached for a few years, the Cavs, still won 64 games last year. So I feel like that's definitely something that's at the very least making him feel better. The fact that he's handling this Cavs team so far. But yeah, so shout out JV Bickerstaff for sure. Shout out Cade Cunningham again um for for coming back. Yeah, like a lung collapse is no joke whatsoever. So for him to come back and he's probably not, yeah, but not as good as he was during the regular season, but he's still playing very, very solid. But yeah, the Pistons are looking like they did in the regular season, and um, like I don't know how the ceiling is. Like I don't know if they'd beat the. I don't know if they would beat the Knicks. Yeah, I'm assuming the Knicks because they're up 2 at this point. I don't know if they would beat the Knicks, but it's definitely something you had to think twice about, given their grits and their identity and everything there.
Yeah, obviously the Pistons went down 3-1. We mentioned that. The Magic, I don't think were a good team. I think they just matched up really, really well versus the
Yeah, I agree.
Pistons. And
Of
not to discredit the Magic, I think
course
they
not. Yeah.
are a solid team, but they underachieved with their expectations going into this year, obviously. Um, yeah, they just matched up really, really well. I mean, Wendell Carter Jr. did a great job on Duran, and they got their defense. They're very, very physical. They kind of play like the Pistons style. But since going down 3-1, has had this up. Cade had 45 points in game 5. Sorry, I just refreshed. I think it was 45 points game 5, 32 in game 6, and 32 in game 7. So just an unbelievable showing from your franchise guy to turn it around when you're down 3-1. They just held the Cavs to 18 points in the opening quarter. That's kind of their identity, is their defensive defensive side. Their question, obviously, is always going to be who their second scorer could be. Can Tobias Harris fill that role if Duran is struggling? We saw that in Game 7. He had a great Game 7, especially the second quarter there versus the Magic. But can he, sustain that production for an entire series or an entire playoff run? Chris, you mentioned the Knicks, who they're most likely going to be playing after going up 2-0 versus a Sixer team that I personally do not think is very, very good. However, they kind of got hot certain games, like we saw versus the Celtics. I would pick the Knicks to win that series. However, I do think there is definitely a world where the Pistons make it a struggle for them. They took them to 6 last year. I know the Knicks are a better team, and the Pistons lost a couple guys and seem to be a little bit worse than last year, not record wise, but roster wise. You lose Malik Beasley, and but that being said, I do think the Pistons can come out of the East. I mean, they are the 1 seed for a reason. They did win 60 games. I don't think they're totally frauds. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if the Cavs can actually put up a fight. I'm obviously way lower on the Cavs as you are, but Chris, if they go down 2-0, is the series over, or what are your thoughts?
Heading into the series, I said 55-45. After game 1, I said I'd say maybe 60-40 reversed, I guess, and then if it's 2-0, I give the Cavs a 15% chance to come back 2-0. Winning 4-5 is very hard, especially against a tough team like the Pistons, and you're not getting anything from your star player. But yeah, so yeah. After that, I think after the Cavs Pistons, we'll move on to we already mentioned the Knicks, so we'll move on to that series now. Before we do that, joining us for the first time in a couple weeks, we got John Driscoll.
Matt, thanks for having me back on. Apologies for my tardiness here. NJ Transit was yet again the culprit of my demise, and it was a long commute home, but happy to be back.
Thrilled to have you back. It's it's been a little bit since it's been the three of us. When was the last time? I don't even know when it was just the three of us, but I know that John and I had a good show with Foreman 3 weeks ago, because 2 weeks ago it was me and Jalen, but I don't know what it was before that, but regardless, it's it's good to have the three of us back on. But we just wrapped up talking about the Pistons Cavs, and now we'll dive into the other series, the series that's I'm dreading talking about. It's that the Knicks are currently up 2-0 on the Sixers. I'm not necessarily upset that the Knicks are up 2-0. I'm more so upset at what the series currently is. But we'll talk more about the Celtics in the second segments. But the Knicks have just looked like a completely different team than the Sixers. Like it's been like a varsity team playing the JV team, in my opinion. So obviously there's a couple of reasons for that. There's obviously the fact that Embiid didn't play yesterday. I shouldn't say completely like a varsity JV team, because the Sixers did put up a good fight yesterday. But at the end of the day, the Sixers just are. I agree with Matt's what he said earlier. The Sixers aren't really a great team. They have a really good big four. When Paul George and VJ Edgecombe are hitting their shots. But they're not necessarily like the most reliable big four. Like I think the VJ Edgecombe is going to be an All NBA caliber player one day. I think that he's that good. But the issue is when you have a rookie, you're relying on a rookie, you're relying on an older Paul George, and even a guy like Tyrese Maxey, who all of us are big fans of. But when he's like the one driving the offense, he's not necessarily going to be the guy to I know that some Sixer fans try to force the argument of him versus Brunson. I think there's like Brunson's at least a tier, maybe even 2 tiers ahead of him at this point. But yeah, it's just it's tough for us to come up here and criticize the Sixers given what they just did to our team, but I don't know. This is looking like a far worse series than I was expecting. Matt, I'm sure you have a lot. I'm sure you agree with a lot of what I just said.
Yeah, I mean, I gave a lot of credit to the Sixers last year's, especially beating the Celtics as plus 900
Sure. Yeah.
underdogs, and coming back from 3-1. However, I just think the Knicks are a tier above them. I mean, more than a tier above them as a team. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns' playoffs is averaging 19, 11, and 6 on 75% true shooting. And the Knicks are just way, way deeper than the Sixers. I mean, Embiid was hurt last night, so you had to put Adam Bona and Andre Drummond as your center rotation. Dominic Barlow was getting some burn. They just get very thin towards the end of the bench, and that's kind of the Knicks' strength. After, obviously the Brunson Cat duo is one of the best in the league. But after that, you got the OG who's playing like unbelievable basketball since the new year, I would say, or since February. But you got guys like Deuce McBride that's been shooting the ball pretty well from three. You got Jordan Clarkson who just kind of changed his game halfway through the year. Now he's just this massive, massive hustle guy. He's a spark off the bench. Mikal Bridges remembered how to play basketball in the second round again. I know if D White was guarding him, he'd probably be averaging 27 at this point. But they're just definitely they're just outclassing the Sixers. Last night kind of felt like, I know there was no Embiid. Mitch Robinson was hurt too, so obviously that's a bigger loss for the Sixers than it is the Knicks. But Mitch Robinson, very impactful player for the Knicks. It felt kind of like the Sixers' best punch last night. They were hitting a lot of shots early in the game, and it kind of is what happens when you have a thin team. You come out fast, then you're kind of gassed at the end of the game. I mean, the end of the game was pretty ugly for both sides. I think the Knicks scored 19 points in the fourth, and the Sixers only scored 12. So it kind of felt like that was the Sixers' best punch. It felt like that was a game for them to win, a very winnable game to steal one on the road. I mean, 2-0 isn't the end of the world. Obviously, they just came back from 3-1 versus a good Boston team, but it kind of feels like the Knicks are kind of just dominating them, kind of taking the life out of their season.
Yeah, I think it's like just as frustrating. It's probably the most frustrating thing for a Celtics fan to watch this series now because you've seen 7 games of this Philly team, which from my perspective, Philly earned the win. They moved on. They won in 7, but I think the Celtics kind of shot themselves in the foot more often than Philly just outclassing them in a way here where the Knicks are just outclassing the Sixers. Now, I'd probably say that. Um, the Knicks would have probably gone into a Celtics Knicks series as the favorite. Um, but all that being said, I still think that this was probably what we were saying and what our sentiment was after the Celtics went up 3-1. Because I think through like 3 out of those 4 games, the Celtics, pretty much dominated the Sixers, and then as they came back and won in 7. So um, it's not unlikely that that could happen here with the Knicks. I mean, the series hasn't really started yet officially. Nobody's won on the road yet, but it's definitely trending in a bad direction for Philly.
Definitely is, and I know that like the one sigh of, okay, I shouldn't say sigh because no team ever hopes for other players to get injured, but like the one sign of hope, I should say, for the Sixers potentially leading a comeback is the injury of OG Anunoby. He did strain his hamstring, which could look like something that's like not necessarily look like, but like in the past has hurts teams for sure. But and the fact, the fact of the matter is, it looks like he's questionable for game 3, and then out. Sorry, questionable for game 3, which means he'll probably he's either going to miss game 3 or he's going to come back for game 4. So we'll see what happens there. But regardless, someone tweeted the other day. I think it was Jake Eisenberg that said like it really seems like that the Sixers just got the best of Embiid for a week there, which is super frustrating on our part for sure. But could the Sixers have come back for 3-1 against the Celtics without Embiid? Not likely, but however, the Celtics were playing pretty bad regardless of who they were. Like it was just engined by Embiid. So But if Embiid isn't going to come back for any of these games, I don't know if he's back for game 3 or not. So I think there's a couple of things that have to go his way in order for that to happen. But yeah, if he doesn't come back, or if he comes back and he's like looking like he did in game 4 against the Celtics, then yeah, the Sixers have zero shot in winning the series. So yeah, like it's looking more likely that it will be Pistons versus Cavs in the conference finals. Let me pull up the score again. Yeah, Pistons are up 8 now, 62-54. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, so yeah, now we're done with that. We'll go out west now. And yeah, I, I guess we'll do the first game, which is currently tied 1-1 between the Spurs and the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves took game 1, and it was in pretty shocking fashion. Wemby played probably his worst playoff game yet. And yeah, Rudy Gobert continued to play great, but then yesterday was kind of a flip of the switch. So um, yeah, Wemby looked filthy last night, um, and yeah, like I only watched like a very short portion of like the highlight videos, but it did look like the Spurs were just overall more comfortable. I know that reports came out that said that Greg Popovich actually joined in the film session, so I don't know how much he was talking during it, or if it was just him being there as an old man presence. But yeah, it's just an interesting concept to think about. But Matt, what are your takeaways on this series so far?
Like you said, game 1, very, very shocking win. I think with all the injuries going to the Wolves, everyone, including myself, kind of just thought this was a postseason from hell for them. And, they had a good win round 1, but it was kind of going to come to an end this series. But they came in, they punched the Spurs in the mouth, which I don't really think anybody expected. I don't think anyone has had a better PR turnaround this postseason than our boy, yes, our boy, Rudy Gobert, who did an amazing job on Jokic and did a great job on Wemby the first game. Obviously, a talent like Wemby, he's going to get you. He won't have many bad games, especially not in a row. Um, the Wolves are a very interesting team because I feel like they're a bunch of, I hate, this is kind of a lazy term, but a bunch of just dogs that
Oh, yeah.
Everyone seems to love Chris Finch in that locker room, and everyone seems to be playing for
Absolutely.
each other. Guys are coming back quick from injury, which, if I feel like there are teams that, aren't that close together that, they would just be like, oh, I'm taking my time coming back. But it's pretty cool to see. And then it was the inverse game 2, which it was a 10-point spread. Not that we're a gambling podcast, but I think that Vegas and everyone else thought that the Spurs were going to kind of come out and jump on the Wolves early, and that's exactly what happened. The Spurs, Ant said it himself, the Spurs were just kind of the more desperate team. You can't go down 2-0 going onto the road, obviously, and win the series. Unless you're the 2017 Celtics when they
18.
went down 2-0 to the 2018 Celtics, and then
Yeah.
Rondo got hurt, and they came back.
Wait, no, Matt, I was wrong. It was it was 2017 against. I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking about when they went up to against LeBron, but that was when they were home. So never mind. But go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing up 2018, Chris.
Oh,
but yeah, the Spurs
last year's Knicks series too, when they lost the first 2 at home and then lost that series.
That's what all of us were thinking anyway. We didn't need to.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, the Spurs came out and just totally punched the Wolves in the mouth yesterday. They look like the better team. They look like the reason why the series was so inflated one side on the odds. St. John's legend Julian Champagny hit 4 threes in like 30 seconds last night to really, really put the game away in the second half. But yeah, Spurs are really, really deep. I really love both of these teams. I think with the injuries, it would be tough for Minnesota to come out of the West. However, if they beat the Spurs team, I mean, I think you can't count them out versus the Thunder or the Lakers. Whoever wins that series, I think will be the Thunder. But I love both these teams playing. I think it's 2 elite teams going at it. We'll see what happens. Game 3 and 4. I probably have the Spurs finishing the series off in 7 just because of the injuries to the Wolves. But I think it's gonna be a very, very close series, very tight series.
Yeah, I'm like cautiously optimistic and surprised about this series so far. I think you kind of have a tale of two series here with the first two games. Um, like you guys both, I mean, I'm a little bit of an older man now, so I can't stay up until 1:30 watching a West Coast game when, when the Celtics aren't even in anymore. But thank God for YouTube recaps because I do watch those at the end in the morning when I'm getting ready for work. Um, but I think that Minnesota did what they had to do. Is losing by 38 the in game two before you go back home optimal? No, but at the end of the day, you split on the road, and that's what all you really need to ask for. I think they kind of stole that game one, um, and now you just gotta hope for I'm looking at the schedules now. This looks like the only time they get an extra day of rest is after game five. So um, it's tough with this playoff scheduling sometimes, especially if you're a team that just needs to get healthy. Um, but I think uh, it all really depends on now if they can go home and defend home court. Because I think going back to San Antonio with a split, um, I think that's probably what they're looking for here, right? I think as like a heavier underdog in this series, I think kind of um, stealing two at home, or I don't want to say stealing two at home, but they'll probably still be underdogs at home, right? Probably what's the spread? 6.5 probably tomorrow. Um, I think that, their goal is to play for a split, and hopefully they can steal two.
I will
Yeah, I don't know.
say with the Wolves, they have a lot of different looks that they can, throw at the Spurs.
Yeah,
I'm talking defensively, but also offensively as well. I mean, we saw in game one to close it out, Ant really didn't is clearly not 100%. He's not even close to it.
yeah,
And they went to Julius Randle, which, could go very good or very bad, and it went very well in game one. And obviously, Gobert did a great job on Wemby, but to close the game, Nas Reed was on the floor to space out the floor and give him more looks offensively. Um, so it's really, I think they're a deeper team than people give them credit for. I think I've always been kind of a Timberwolves stan. I kind of not overrate them, but I always feel like I give them more credit than most. That might be because of friend of the pod Ryan McManus being a fan of them. Um, but I mean, like I said, they seem like they're just very together in the locker room. They all love Mike Conley. It seems like it's going to be one of, if not the last year, one of Mike Conley's last year. So they're all kind of playing for him, all kind of playing for Finch. So that I feel like that's a very underrated aspect of a playoff run. I feel like the team that's always gelled and working well together, and actually like each other go further than you think.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch for sure because I feel like most people obviously most people, which is like I know that everyone believes in this in the Timberwolves rightfully so because they made back-to-back conference finals. It would be wild if they made it again this year with the shaken up bands. And um one thing that like I feel like wasn't even mentioned with Dante DiVincenzo. Not only did he start all the games he played in all 82 games this year.
Mhm.
So if you want to if you want to show like like I feel like sports gods is really, I feel people will talk about with baseball, but like showing the past like year, it's been brutal with the basketball ones because not only is it like guys are getting Achilles, it's been like the best possible people too. It's been Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, Dante Vincenzo. These are players that like I know we always complain that like Tatum always gets slandered too much, but at the end of the day, everyone knows how great a guy he is, and like everyone knows how likable he is. But yeah, like every single player, like even a guy like Dame, like yeah, like I know that he's a player who was slandered before, but like he doesn't have any off the court issues. Um, so yeah, like I just wanted to give Dante a shout out too because I feel like he had a pretty underrated season too. But I'm kind of like I'm kind of on the opposite of end, and man, like I'm kind of expecting the Spurs to close this out pretty easily. I'm feeling like I feel like the Timberwolves is running on high adrenaline, with everything. And I feel like Gant's eventually gonna run out, especially especially given his runner's knee, in addition to like with everything. So I think it'll just be tough for them to recover. But I might go Spurs in 5, but I think I can go 6 at the best. But we'll see what happens though. And then we have one more playoff series to talk about, which is the Thunder versus the Lakers. The Thunder are currently up 1-0. Game 2 is tonight. I'm assuming this is going to be the one that we talk about the least because if I'm being honest, I'm not expecting the Lakers to win a game. I know they were in the game in the first half, but the fact that Luka's not back yet in the second round against the Thunder, I think that shows you that this injury is real. And like if Luka were to if like I know everyone said like I think the idea that like players decide to sit out during the playoffs is bonkers. Like like I saw a tweet the other day that's like listed out all the players that like wanted to play, or like they did play under strict circumstances. So, but like and again, like I feel like I keep on saying this during this pod, but we've given Luka a lot of slack, but like the guy's a dog at the end of the day, and he's definitely not someone that's gonna willingly sit out games. So he's definitely banged up, and even if he wasn't banged up, I'd probably take the Thunder in like 5 games. So yeah, shout out LeBron. He's been phenomenal. Shout out our guy Marcus Smart. He's been kind of a career resurgence this year. I know that last year it wasn't looking good. He got cut by the Wizards eventually. But Luke Kennard, he's someone that I thought was gonna kind of be exposed in the playoffs, but he's been the Lakers' second or third best player. So, and also shout out JJ Redick for coming up with the game plan to beat the Rockets, even though Kevin Durant only played one game. Lakers have been very impressive, but I don't think they're winning a game against the Thunder.
Yeah, I would agree. I just think the Thunder are the best, a tier above kind of everybody else. I know certain teams match up well with them, and I think can beat them in a playoff series. But I mean, you're the reigning champ for a reason. You traded for Jared McCain, who's a key rotational piece right now. And the Lakers are just banged up. I think fully healthy, the Thunder still win this series. But like you said, Luke is out, and even Austin Reeves is back. He's clearly not 100%. Austin Reeves last night had the lowest field goal percentage by a Laker in a playoff game this century.
Oh, wow.
He's number 1 on this list, and then he's number 7 from a game he had last week. 2 through 6 are all Kobe Bryant, by the way. Just wanted to put that out there. 20%, 28%, 1%, 21%, 24%, 25% Kobe Bryant in playoff games. But Chris, like you said, I think the Thunder are too deep. I think they have the best player in the series. Even with Jalen Williams out, I think that they wrap it up in 4, if not 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just to echo what you guys said, I think it's we've just seen the Thunder run through these teams for what feels like the better part of the past year and a half, almost 2 years now. And I think it's really concerning. Not even concerning, but I think it's really telling to see that we haven't gotten any real concrete update on Luka recently. So I think there's not really much else I could say here, but besides like Thunder in 4, unless there's a shooting variance game, and then there's Thunder in 5.
So yeah, it sounds like we all agree, and there's really not much else to be said. The Thunder are just above and beyond every team, and again, I'm going to sound like a bitter fan, but like I think the Lakers are the most fraudulent 4 seed ever, and I know that they won a playoff series, so you can't really say they're the fraudulent 4 seed, but I don't like the Lakers in general, but like I also don't like this team constructed around them though. But we'll see what happens after the series in the offseason. But yeah, so now we'll go about it's crazy how it shows you 2 things. A, that that the NBA is a 12-month sport. Even when the Celtics are eliminated, they're dominating the news cycle in the middle of the NBA playoffs. And B, it also shows that how dominant the Celtics are to the media, because a lot of talking points go around. I know that a lot of people I saw one comment say, it said I wonder why people speculate Tatum and Brown every summer, but not Jokic and Murray. And people say, oh, it's because like Jokic is the clear number 1, Murray's the clear number 2. But no, the real answer to that question is that no one cares about the Nuggets. People care about the Celtics. And and I think the fact that like they're dominating the media so much shows shows how much they control things. But anyway, yesterday Brad Stevens held a press conference, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch the entire thing. I only saw a couple of the clips. I saw a bunch of the quotes. But couple takeaways. One, Brad Stevens looks pissed, and that's not the best sign for the league. When top 2 GM in the league, I think the only one that has an argument is Sam Presti, is pissed off at the way things are happening, and he made it clear that there are moves coming. So I have a list of talking points here. There's a bunch of them. I'm not gonna cover any of them yet. I'm gonna listen to what you guys have to say first. But Matt, why don't you go ahead and give us your takeaways on the either the Brad Stevens press conference or anything else regarding the Celtics offseason so far?
Well, I'll start with the first thing you talked about, which is the Celtics in the news cycle. I think it is true. A big market team like the Celtics, historic franchise, are in the news cycle more than most teams. However, I think that if a guy that's going to be first team or second team All NBA and will receive MVP votes this year, streamed after blowing a 3-1 lead on if he was on the Memphis Grizzlies, that would still be in the news cycle. I don't think it being the Celtics because of that. But let me talk about the Brad Stevens aspect, like you mentioned. I think the press conference is a great sign for the Celtics franchise and for Celtics fans. He looks angry, like you said, and I think it was very cool how straight up he was and how honest. He said, I'm pissed that they're not playing New York right now. He said this team has a ton of flaws, which I think is great. Instead of just being like, oh, we're gonna run it back. Tatum was hurt; he'll be our addition next year. He mentioned, that they had a lack of a rim presence. How they want to have more dunks next year. How he said some of the threes they took. I know that's a huge talking point, is that the amount of threes the Celtics take, and I know that's blown out of proportion as we mentioned on this pod. But he said some of the threes they take weren't good quality shots, which I totally agree with later in the series. And yeah, he said changes are to be made. They have a lot of money to play with. They have a trade player exception, which I've been trying to follow trade player exception since 2016. I still have no idea how they work. I just see proposals and stuff online, and I'm like, okay, cool. That it seems like we could use that here. But I think the Celtics roster is going to look very, very different going into next year. I think they had a great year of development, and I think that's going to help them in the future. However, I totally agree with Brad Stevens that this team was very good in the regular season. They tried very hard, but it was against a tanking league. I kind of think there's a couple teams every year that try very hard in the regular season and end up, either burning out in the postseason or kind of are shown that there are levels and tiers to teams in the postseason. And the Celtics were one of them this year, unfortunately. I do think they were a better team than the Sixers. However, the Sixers played better than them down the stretch, no question about it. That's why they won the series. And it just shows you the Celtics were a flawed team. But it's cool that Brad Stevens came out and admitted it.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, just like you said, I think that it would be very easy and almost somewhat acceptable to some if Brad Stevens came out and said, look, Jason Tatum missed 67 games this year. He came back. He looked very good. We looked at it as a success. We won 56 games of the regular season without him. And then he missed a game 7, which, if he played, we think we would have won. I think most of that's cope. But I think that's something that some GMs in the league would have said. But Brad Stevens, I think, has done a great job building this team in the past. I think he's very intelligent when it comes to evaluating talent. And I think if you are honest with yourself about the Celtics team and you consider yourself to be intelligent about basketball, you realize that there were holes and there were definite areas of weakness, areas that need to be improved if you want. Matt, you said levels. I don't think they were on the Knicks level this year. I don't. I think they were still probably considered at their best like top 2, 3 team in the East. But what is that saying, really? Like the East is very flawed. I don't think they're on. I was gonna say I think they're on the Nuggets level, but they had their own problems. But they're certainly not on the Thunder level. So I think they're like a tier. They're at least 2 tiers below like the standard, which I think is like the favorite who I think will win and repeat as champions this year. They're not on the Spurs level. But I think there are like certain things that could be done to get them that. That's like the cool thing about like NBA free agency, NBA off seasons is that you're really like only a couple moves away from contending. Like you have baseball or football, like you see it with the Giants and the Jets every year. Like they can't figure it out. It's not rebuilding a football team takes a lot longer. Um,
Mm.
so I think it's good, and I appreciate that he kind of acknowledged that they have to be better, and I'm excited for this offseason to see how they do it.
Yeah, I think they went, what was it, 3-11 versus the top three teams in the West and
That was gonna be the thing I
Knicks and
brought up. Yeah.
Spurs this year.
Mhm.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
meant to take your talking point. But
You,
yeah,
you, you know,
that's
there's
cool.
plenty
He
more.
came
There's
out
plenty
and
more
was
I want
just
to say.
like, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry again, Chris?
Oh no, I said there's plenty more that I want to say, but yeah. So yeah, it's good that you took that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that he came out and was just like, yeah, we weren't close this year. I'm pissed about it. And it's cool to see honesty from management.
Yeah, I took the so last night on Fluent versus Chill versus Everyone, rather than doing a debate show, Fluent, Chill, and Jalen decided just to interrogate me and Ori the entire time, so that was fun. Um, but during the interrogation, I approached the angle. I said, like, listen, this was a very disappointing season, and they listed off all the reasons why Torbo that they lost and everything. But then the second that I said, but there's reasons to remain optimistic, and I said a couple of things, and that's when Chilton started screaming at me, saying like, "Dude, they were the two Satan blow with 3-1 leads." So yeah, getting yelled at by Chilton is always something that I wanted to be part of. So that was pretty fun. But then a couple of other things I wanted to add. So one of the big things that he mentioned is the margin of error needs to be bigger, which 1,000% true. 2024, the margin for error is huge. That's why they were such a dominant team. But I don't know because again, everyone's talking about the 3-point shots. And that's one thing I argued with them last night about. So have they shot too many threes in certain games? Absolutely. Like there's a like I wrote it down in the flashcard yesterday. Like all the like they shot like under 30% in most of those games, especially in the losses. But the issue is, however, I also they made a lot of their 2-point shots in certain situations, but towards the end of games, they were missing all their 2-point shots in the paint. So it's not like them chest shooting twos instead of threes would have solved other issues. But like the fact of the matter is that like there does need to be some adjustments made, and I know like in my opinion that's very much like a casual fan answer. And I don't mean to insult anyone when they said that because like it's probably something that we've said on the spot honestly too. But when people say, "Oh, this coach is bad at making adjustments," I think you could say that about literally every single NBA coach. I'm pretty sure that Miami Heat fans have said that about Eric Spoelstra. So that's just one thing to consider about that. But this guy, Julian Edlow, he's he works. Yeah, so it looks like he's a Boston reporter. He said on losing so much at home and if it requires leadership change, he said, I think it's a legitimate question. I don't think we should ignore it. Points to prosperity within the game and be more dialed in playing with big leads, acknowledge blown home leads in 2023 versus Miami, 2025 versus the Knicks, 2026 versus Philly, and the 2024 home losses to Miami and Cleveland when they went on to win. We need to get better in those moments. I think that's I know it's more big picture than all the other issues, but I think that's easily the biggest issue. I think the rest, again, and as much as we say home court doesn't matter as much anymore to the rest of the league, the Celtics are, out of all the good teams in the league, the Celtics are easily the worst home team. So that's I definitely think that's something they need to at least think about because like it's one of those things where how the hell do you adjust to a team just playing better at home? But let's be honest, like I'll call a spade a spade. It's pathetic that they've been so bad at home for the past 5 years. 2022, like 20 like if we go through 2022, they lost 2 games to the Bucks at home. 2023, I think they lost 2 games to the Heat at home, which they went on to win. And then
3
the
games
finals
to the Heat at home.
In 2022.
3.
Okay, no, I'm talking about in 2022 when they won the series. Though I'm pretty sure was it.
I thought you said 2023. They lost 3 games at home.
I'm adding up all the years. So 2022 they lost. When they lost to Golden State, did they lose 2 or 3 games at home? It must have been.
They're up 2-1.
They were up 2-1, but so I think
they
lost
2 at home.
So 2 at home. So they lost 6 home games in 2022. And then 2023 they they lost 1 home game to the Hawks. That was one of the worst games I've ever watched. And then they lost second round. They lost 2 games at home to the Sixers. That was game 1 and game 5. And then they lost 3 and then they lost 3 games at home, like you said, to the Heat, so that's 6. So that's 4 in 2022, 6 in 2023, that's 10. 2024 they lost 2 home games. Yeah, to the which obviously going 16-3 is extremely impressive, but like still losing 2 home games is still ridiculous. So that's 12. Last year, what was it?
Last year they lost 2.
Was it just to the Knicks that they lost? Yeah, it was just the Knicks because they won all their home games against the Magic.
The Magic,
So they lost 2 home games to the Knicks. So what is that? Wait, so it's 10 plus 2. What was it? 2 games? Yeah, so 12, 13. And then this year they lost 3. They lost 3 to the Sixers. So that's 16 home games in the past 5 years. And we've been a top 2 seed in all of those seasons. That's just not acceptable. You can't lose 13 home games in 5 seasons when you're a 2 seed. There's no. I'm not sugarcoating that. I'm usually a sugarcoater when it comes to this team, but no, and I'm sounding like that here because he makes it seem like that it's 50-50 when it comes to home versus away. Most teams win home, most teams versus away. It's not like that anymore. But it can't be that. It can't be like that. It can't be that much of a turnaround. If you lose like once, once a playoff run at home, like against like an inferior team, or if it's like a 50-50 game, if you lose to a better team, but like most of the seasons they've been losing to inferior teams. So is Joe Mazzulla to blame? I don't think so. However, that's we've been Joe Mazzulla stands all year, since the beginning of his tenure. But I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything about like they should fire him, but like at the very least they need to look at the idea. Like they need to like at least revisit the idea of Joe Mazzulla if something like this happens next year. And I don't know what the. I'm sure that Brad Stevens is gonna have a lot of conversations with him over the summer, but we'll just see what happens there.
Yeah, Chris, I think you bring up a good point. Obviously, I think Joe Mazzulla is one of the elite coaches in the league. I think he's a top 5 coach. However, there are a lot of stains on his resume. I mean, he won at 24, like you said, but the other 3 losses, they've been massive favorites in that series. And I'm obviously still a Joe Mazzulla fan, but I think there's definitely questions going into next year. I think his seat is not cold, but not hot. I think it's a little warm. It's on the colder side, but it's a little warm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's enough. That's enough Celtics talk for now. We're going to talk plenty about the Celtics over the summer. But yeah, so now we're going to do a hypothetical game, and I didn't really explain much in the group chat, but regarding what we're talking about. But this is going to be a segment. Basically what it is, and plunder is. I just learned the word plunder through Gemini, because I was wondering what to title this. But basically, what we're doing is, what would happen if the winning team of each series could poach a player from the losing team? So basically, I think we'll just jump. We'll just jump right in, and we'll just learn as we go. So,
Chris, can I do our ad read?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
This segment is presented by Six Man Trivia. Step onto the court with Six Man Trivia, the ultimate basketball trivia and crossword app for the real NBA fans. From NBA legends to March Madness upsets, test your hoops IQ daily and prove you belong in the game. Download now on the Apple App Store. I think it's on Google Play as well. Six Man Trivia. I have it. Very fun app. I play it every day. So go get it, guys.
Shout out Six Man Trivia. Shout out friend of the pod, Drew Fitzpatrick, even though he's banned from the pod for the next 2 years now.
Patrick Wart. Not Drew Fitzpatrick. Other Philly fan.
Oh, Drew Fitzpatrick. Oh, he's not involved with that? Drew?
No, I think he's just also a friend, user of the app.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so damn, I shouldn't have brought up that guy's name then. But anyway, definitely shout out Pat Wart though. So anyway, we're gonna dive into each first round playoff series, and we're gonna decide which player should they poach from each team. And just keep in mind, most situations they're gonna add the best player, but there are gonna be situations where they say, hang on a second, we have 3 guards. We have 3 very good guards. Their best player is a guard. Should we get that elite guard, or should we get one of the forwards or centers? So that's just something to think about there. So I think we'll start out west, and we'll do the first series, which the Thunder beat the Suns. So the Thunder would be taking it, and we'll take a vote, obviously, based on what we want. So the Thunder would be picking. There's one obvious answer, but there's another good answer too. So, I'll give both of them. So the obvious answer, of course, is Devin Booker. He's top 20. Yeah, like I used to be near top 10. Probably has an argument for near top 15, but definitely top 20 player in my opinion. The Thunder at the end of the day, they're an elite team, but I do think having another shot creator next to Shea would be filthy. Spacing would be amazing, and their defense would take a hit for sure. If you're replacing him, if you're giving Caruso's minutes, but still, offense would like his offense would definitely make up for the loss on the defense. The other option, in my opinion, would be Dylan Brooks, and that is because he just leans right into their identity. And the Thunder are a bunch of pricks, and he would feed off that energy. Just like imagine if you're being guarded by Lou Dortz and you finally get off a screen from him because he's so dirty, and then you have to be then recovered by Dylan Brooks who hacks the shit out of you. So it would be either, in my opinion, yeah. There's other options for sure. Like yeah, like there's other options if you guys want to give them, that's fine. But I think it would have to be one of those two guys. I'll give my vote after you guys want. So John, if you want to give your take first on the situation.
Yeah, I kind of went back and forth a little bit on this one. I get both of I get your take. I think plugging in Dylan Brooks would actually be like plugging in Draymond on the Warriors in a way, like he'd fill
Yeah.
in that role.
Mhm.
Obviously, Draymond better facilitator, but overall, I decided to go with Devin Booker. I think not to overthink this. I think Devin Booker, not only is he like his potential is superstardom, he's also probably one of the more pluggable playmakers. Um, in the league, I think he can kind of, even if you want to turn him into kind of like an off ball, um, scorer, I think he plays that role pretty well. Like you said, defense probably does take a little bit of a hit, but I think the Thunder have enough, limbs to throw out in the passing lanes to make up for it.
Yeah, I'm not overthinking this. Jalen Williams' hamstring might be jelly right now, so you're
Yes,
replacing
that's the other thing.
a
Yeah.
shooting guard small forward with just a better player in Devin Booker. So I'm picking Devin Booker.
I 100% agree. Clean sweep. We're going Devin Booker. He's joining the powerhouse of the OKC Thunder. Writing that down now. So next we'll go with the other with the 4-5 matchup. Now this would be interesting just because I think like I didn't mention this. I think we are going to factor in injuries just because we want to try to make this as realistic as possible. So if Kevin Durant was healthy, I'd say let's I think the Lakers should add Kevin Durant just because like it's one of those. Yeah, that's another one. Where it would be like, don't overthink it. It's like you have like another elite shot creator next to LeBron and Luka. But however, in this situation, I think there are two options. One of them being Alperen Şengün, who had some pretty good moments in the playoffs. Yeah, like Game 3, he was looking pretty good. And just a clear upgrade from DeAndre Ayton. I know people will say that Şengün isn't that good and everything, which he's not as good as he was at the beginning of the year. But I do think, however, he's an all-star caliber center and just like I said, a clear upgrade from Ayton. The other one being Amin Thompson, and I think he'd be a good replacement on the athleticism level because that's one thing that the Lakers lack for sure is their athleticism. So, and perimeter defense, of course. So Thompson would help that. And maybe him being the primary defender on Shea, would probably what they would use them for. But so I'd say either Şengün or Thompson. But Matt, what are you thinking?
I mean, the Lakers have a lot of holes, so you could go either way here. I think because of Luka's injury, and they're even with Luka there, the perimeter. I mean, their perimeter defense is better without Luka. I'm kind of hesitant here. I'm gonna go with Amin Thompson. I don't know if I fully agree with me doing that right now, but I think just the athleticism and speed that he brings to the game totally be a spark plug to the Lakers. And I think the Sengun, his fault is that he kind of plays soft a little bit sometimes. So I think against the Thunder, he would just kind of crumble.
It's an interesting way to go about this kind of draft or however you call it, because I would probably take say the best player from the Rockets would be Sengun. but I do think Thompson fits more in what they need against the Thunder. Look, I know LeBron and Sengun are different players, but I do think they play in a similar style. Both kind of, LeBron probably obviously relies on athleticism a little bit more, but 41-year-old LeBron James kind of lets the game come to him. He's more of a facilitator. I see Sengun as somebody like that as well. So I don't think that LeBron and Sengun technically like vibe well together. So I would go with Thompson.
So okay, yeah. So I would have voted for Şengün just because I really don't like DeAndre Ayton. So I agree they wouldn't vibe. So maybe that would be the right answer. But sounds like I voted 2-1 there. So and Thompson would be going to the Lakers.
So Chris, let's
Yeah.
say we have the Thunder beating the Lakers with these additions. Let's say we wanted to take Amon Thompson. No, it has to be from the winning team.
I would say it has to be from a player that's currently in
I
that
agree.
team.
I agree.
Yeah,
I was just wondering.
Yeah, because like a guy like Jokic would just keep on advancing if he would have lose. So that's why. All right, so now we're going to the 3-6 matchup. Which, speaking of Jokic, this is one I feel like we're not going to over talk about again. I think again the only argument I could see is the Timberwolves are down Anthony Edwards. So maybe do you want to add Jamal Murray to be your primary shot creator, or do you want to go with Nikola Jokic, the top 3 player? I know first I still think he's the second top 2 player, but definitely top 3 player in the league in my opinion. Would the fit be clunky next to Rudy Gobert? Maybe, but I think even though Rudy Gobert is launched, I think you're willing to either put Gobert on the bench or have them play complementary together and have them kind of play a similar game to when Cats and Gobert played together. So I didn't give my vote. I've been waiting to get my vote, but like I'll probably go Jokic, but I'll listen to someone they say they'd rather have Murray just to replace the Ant role. But John, what do you think?
I think you got to go Jokic.
Yeah.
I think it's just again, it's similar, not as severe as the Devin Booker example, but I would just pick the best player. And I know I went with fit last time because it was just the way it was structured, but I think Jokic is so valuable.
Yeah, I think you go with fit until it's a top 3 player in the league or top 2 or top 1. I'm going to go with Jokic as well.
Awesome. Okay, so all right, next one would be the 2-7. So this one's interesting just because we have Spurs versus the Spurs beat the Blazers. So this one's interesting just because, and I'm kind of pissed at the Spurs. Like, kind of pissed in the situation because the Spurs are overloaded at guard. They have Fox, Castle, and Harper. If they weren't overloaded at guard, I would 1,000,000% take Drew Holiday just because he has the championship experience. He fits like a glove on every single team. But what good use of he? He's very redundant with Stephon Castle there. So I feel like Stephon Castle plays that role. Would Drew Holiday be better in the later rounds? Maybe, but I feel like given how thin they are on the wing, especially power forward, I feel like you do have to go Denny Avdija or Denny Avdija. So, Matt, I'm sure you agree, but this was my thought process the entire time.
Yeah, I was gonna say Drew, but the Spurs are so loaded at guard, Chris. I totally agree. I think Denny Avdija is definitely the correct choice.
Yeah, again, I think it's really tough when you start thinking about fit because I think a lot of teams' best players, especially teams that have been eliminated in the first round, their best players are normally, aside from the Nuggets, like a top 2 player. Like they're very much like Denny Avdija, very good, like pure scorer. Is he going to fit perfectly on another team? Maybe not, but I think you can't really overthink it in certain situations.
Sounds like we all agree. So yeah, Denny to the Spurs. 1 second. So I think we'll do West. We'll do all the teams in the West first, then we'll do all the teams in the East. Just for continuity's sake. So round 1. So we have the Lakers versus the Thunder. The Thunder starting lineup would be SGA, Booker, Dort, Chet, and Ihart. Probably is what I'm thinking. I'm assuming that they move whoever to the bench. I guess it would be AJ Mitchell. J-Dub came off the bench last time. So or it wasn't J-Dub, it was Jalen Williams. But yeah, whoever's minutes he takes, and then The Lakers starting five would be Reeves. Did Reeves start? Did Reeves start? He didn't, right?
He came off the bench game 1.
Oh no, he didn't. He started. He came off the bench in game 6. I think that's what it was. So yeah, he did start last game.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it would be Reeves, Amin Thompson, LeBron, Rui, and Aiden. So moving Marcus Smart back to the bench. That's what it'd probably be. Are we taking Thunder and 4 again in this series?
Thunder, and then
yeah.
You take LeBron, I think.
Because you hang on a second. Yeah, I just want to evaluate the series real quick, just because at the like I want to make it clear. So the Thunder are adding Booker. The Thunder are the best team, much better than the Lakers. The Thunder are adding Booker, and then the Rockets are adding Amin Thompson. So I know you can argue that Thompson filled like a bigger need for the Lakers, but however the talent gap is too big. So I don't think I need to ask you guys about the rest of it, but so yeah, we'll do, yeah, so we'll do, yeah, and we will address the poaching aspect of it. So I'll give my opinion now. Even if Luka was healthy, I think I'd still have the have the Thunder at LeBron, mainly because Luka is just so ball dominant offensively, and taking the ball out of Shea's hand. That's one thing. The defense would take an even bigger hits with you're adding both Booker and Luka, and then taking minutes away from Caruso and from Lou Dort. So in this case, I'm going with LeBron, and the last reason. So we better off-ball player, better defender, and if there's one, the Thunder have championship experience at this point, but what they don't have is multiple championship experience. So adding LeBron James, is there any player that fits better in the intangibles aspect of it than LeBron James? No, there's not. So pretty easy answer. I don't know if you guys would go with Luka instead of LeBron, but pretty answer in my opinion.
I would go with LeBron.
Not a question.
Yeah. So yeah, it sounds like we all agree there. So yeah, LeBron would be joining the Thunder, which sounds crazy, but then this one is very, very interesting. So let me pull out the lineups real quick. Let's see. This was last night. So the Wolves starting lineup. Do you move Rudy to the bench, or do you start both Jokic and not Rudy to the bench, or do you start both of them? I don't know.
Who would you move to the bench if you didn't move Rudy to the bench?
Would you go really big, put Randall at the 3, McDaniels at the 4, and then move Shannon Jr. to the bench, maybe? Or would you just move either? Or would you just move either Randall or McDaniels?
It would be Ant at the 1, McDaniels at the 2, Randall at the 3. Yeah, I would do that probably.
Okay, so yeah, so I'll lay it out. So Ant at the 1, McDaniels 2, Randall 3, Jokic 4, Gobert 5. And then the Spurs would be Wemby 5, Denny 4, Vassell 3, Castle 2, Fox 1. So I think I'm going the Wolves. I think the Jokic struggled against Gobert. I think that the fact they're going double big now. I think and he played really well against Wemby this year. I think I'm going to go with them.
Yeah,
which team is Jokic on again?
The Wolves.
The shooting with the Wolves would be an issue.
Yeah, it would be.
Unless you put Rudy to the bench and have Shannon Jr. or somebody start.
Yeah.
Which they could do.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Wolves.
John?
Yeah, I mean, my vote doesn't count. You guys both picked the Wolves.
Okay.
I agree.
All right, so the Wolves.
Ultra big.
I think you got to go ultra big, right?
You got to take Wemby.
You got to take Wemby, right?
Because then you got the Wemby Jokic starting lineup. You got to do that.
Or unless you maybe want to go with either Castle or Fox because
No.
like Castle, the Castle's the Swiss Army knife. Fox is the primary shot creator. Then like next to Ant, that'd be really cool. But
wait, so what's the Timberwolves starting lineup here?
with Wemby or with without?
Oh, so you're saying this is what the Wolves would be going into the championship
Conference Finals.
conference finals, right? Sorry, going up against the Thunder. So yeah, you
Yeah.
got to take Wemby. So then you
Okay.
have a Gobert, Wemby, Jokic,
We'll
and
Gobert.
McDaniels?
Gobert's coming off the bench now. Let's make that part clear.
Yeah.
But it would be Ant, McDaniels, Randall, Jokic, Wemby, with Gobert and Naz Reid being your backup centers. So yeah, okay, yeah, this is getting confusing. Okay, it's not confusing for me, but it's confusing to write down, I should say. But so yeah, now the Thunder starting lineup is SGA, Booker, LeBron. I think we'll still go big, and we'll put and we'll start Ihart to get ahead of Lou Dort. So yeah, so SGA, Booker, LeBron, Chet, and Ihart versus Ant, McDaniels, Randall, Jokic, Wemby. And the Thunder have the clear better bench, obviously, because their benches Caruso, Kaysen, Dort, and a few others, AJ Mitchell, and then the Thunder bench. Okay, sorry, the Wolves bench is filthy also because they have Gobert, Naz Reid, Ayo Dosunmu, and Terrence Shannon Jr. So, this is filthy. Matt, I think Matt hopped off there for a second, but before I, so I'm going to repeat the starting lineups again. So SGA, Booker, LeBron, Chet, and Ihart versus Ant, McDaniels, Randall, Jokic, and Wemby. John, what are you thinking? So it's yes. So let's break this down.
Sorry,
So
one more time. The Thunder starting five.
SGA, Booker, LeBron, Chet, Ihart.
Yeah, it's the Thunder for me. They have the shooting and the defense. I don't think that the Wolves have the shooting.
Yeah. Matt?
Yeah, I would probably agree. I don't know. The
That Wolves
Jokic
team is
Wemby,
nuts, though.
the Jokic
They
Wemby
are.
front court is kind of crazy. I don't know.
It is.
I mean,
is
but
crazy.
if you're gonna match up the Jokic Wemby front court and Ihart Chet
Yes.
combo isn't too bad.
No, it's not.
I would go with the Thunder just because of their play style and depth as well.
Also, just Shea's driving and then like collapsing with Booker open, or you can kick out to LeBron, who can also just take like one hard dribble and then, which granted Wemby would be meeting him at the rim, but yeah, I'll go Thunder too. So, are the Thunder poaching Anthony Edwards?
Yeah.
Unless you, I don't think there's an unless there. Like I know that Ant's kind of shaken up, but I think we'll do that. So, yeah. So, Matt and I agree. Yeah, John, do you agree too? Are they taking it?
The Thunder?
Yeah.
I mean, no.
They can't take Jokic or Wemby. They have to take somebody on the
current roster.
Oh, so then yeah, definitely not with Julius.
Unless you wanted to go with Gobert and then have Gobert and Chet be and move Ihart to the bench, and then
no.
Do not want to do that, Chris.
Gobert and Chet is better than Wemby and Jokic defensively. I know that for sure.
Yeah, but Ant is a better basketball player.
It's not always about who's the better basketball player. We all know.
Yeah, it's better defensively. It's also way worse offensively.
Details.
Significantly worse offensively.
Okay. All right, here's the deal, gentlemen. John, I need to run into your room real quick and grab my charger. So if you could just unplug that real quick, and I'm going to grab that. While I'm doing that, Matt, you can lead the conversation. It's not plugged in. Okay. Against the wall. Okay. I'll come in. All
right, I'll lead the conversation. We're going to start with the
Pistons Magic.
The 1 versus the 8. Obviously, Pistons won. They would have to pick somebody up. It would be Paulo Franz, who's banged up. I think those are
Paolo.
really, it would be Paolo. So then
I think he's a
that
good
would,
fit on the Pistons too.
yeah, he can't shoot and they play defense, so he'd fit right in.
Yeah, and he can kick that bum Tobias Harris out.
So who would there would be? Let's see, Cade. Who would there two be?
Shut up.
Would it be
What did you say, by the way? I didn't hear what you said.
No, I just said that the Pistons would probably take Paolo Banchero, and I said he would send Tobias Harris to the bench. Right? What did I say, Matt? I said he'd kick
that bum?
that bum Tobias Harris
Ha, ha,
out of
ha.
there.
Okay, so by the way, spoiler alert, I didn't go to John's room. My charger, I did bring the charger from his room earlier. It was just on the ground like with everything else. But yes, I agree. It would be it would be Paulo for sure. Starting lineup would be Cade, Asar, Paulo, Duran, and I guess would it be Duncan Robinson or
Harris?
Would it be Harris or let me check. By the way, Pistons, we should have been tracking Pistons up 98, 92. They'd be moving either Harris or Duncan Robinson. I'd imagine they'd move Harris just because I feel like he's a better overall not better, but like it's more so he fills the need more because
he can do more off the bench.
Yes, yeah, and your spacing would take a better hit for sure. Easy one relatively. Give me 1 second.
All right, so then the next series is 2 versus 7.
It's 2 versus it would be 4 versus 5 just because we want to address that. But Cavs versus Raptors. This one again probably doesn't need much conversation, but Matt, you want to go?
Scotty Barnes.
Yep, it would most likely be Scotty Barnes. You could say Brandon Ingram's injured. RJ Barrett played a great series, but
Ingram
Scotty Barnes
be the healthiest he's been in his life. It's Scotty Barnes.
Well, Ingram was better in the first half of the year, but debatably, Scott.
Not when you weigh in his defense.
Yeah, it's close,
Scotty
but
Barnes, isn't he like?
Chris, Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram is not close.
It was people were voting Brandon Ingram to make the All-Star game this year ahead of Ingram. Like I agree, Scotty's better, but like people, this was a conversation. Like, yeah, okay, I'm quoting Chill on here, but yeah, this was a conversation. But yeah, the front court trio defensively of Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen is the scary is mega scary. So pretty easy one there. 3-6 Knicks versus Hawks, again, pretty easy. We don't need to talk much about that. I think. Do you want to? I'm assuming we're all going Jalen Johnson. The Knicks' biggest need is power forward. But I don't think he's anyone else unless you want to go Ngannou for defense. But even then, I don't.
Or you go CJ for bench scoring or shooting.
I would go Jalen Johnson.
I would also go Jalen Johnson. Yeah.
You already have Brunson. Like bench scoring is one thing, but having two undersized guards, which I know minutes would be scattered, but
he would be the shooting guard. But yeah, I would go Jalen Johnson. You're right.
Yeah. So which leads to the Sixers. Obviously they can add a few guys, but they're but like assuming. Oh Jesus. Assuming Tatum's injury was a concern for them, I'd say they'd add Jaylen Brown probably.
But I think Tatum would play in the second round though.
Would he? We don't know. That's the thing.
I would take Tatum. They're losing to the Knicks anyway, so you might as well take the shot that he plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Both of you voting for Tatum?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. Okay. He's not going to make it to the next round anyway.
Okay. All right. So
we should give him Sam Hauser just to screw with the Sixers.
I mean, they're going to. I mean, we're probably taking who next? Embiid or Maxey?
Maxey.
Well, hang on. Just I want to go. But Cade, Asar. What do we say? Cade, Asar, Robinson, Paulo, Duran versus Harden, Mitchell, Scotty, Mobley, Allen. So pretty 50-50 in my opinion. I think adding Paolo versus adding Scotty is interesting. The Pistons are about to go up 2-0 right now. Would the addition of Scotty Barnes versus the addition of Paolo Banchero made up the difference for the Cavs here?
No.
Yeah,
No?
I think it's definitely a closer series. I think I would take Scotty over Paulo, I think, as a player, but I would still go with the Pistons here.
Same.
You have James Harden, so
yeah, you do have. Yeah, I might go with. I'm going to stick with my Cavs. I'd probably go with the Cavs, given how much better they would be on defense. And I feel like that they would just be able to throw more bodies at guys. But yeah, since both of you guys voted for the Pistons, we'll go with the Pistons. And this is interesting. You have Cade Cunningham already. Are you going to add Donovan Mitchell, or are you going to add Evan Mobley?
I would add Mitch. I mean,
yeah, I think the Pistons' biggest thing is they don't have their second scoring option. So I think adding Mitchell is a huge deal.
And they already have Duren.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mobley would be the 4, and
Paolo.
Mobley would be the 4, and then Paolo would be the 3. Mobley and Asar Thompson would be a very good defensive duo. But it's funny because and I wanted to mention this part. So I thought if we chose the Cavs, this we assumed that they would add Cade, but however, if they added Asar Thompson, the defense for the 5 defensive guys would be Asar Thompson, Scotty Barnes, and Mobley, Jared Allen. That'd be a very good defensive team. But yeah, we picked the Pistons though. So Knicks versus Sixers. So it's the Knicks plus Jalen Johnson versus the Sixers plus Jason Tatum. Thoughts?
Knicks in 4, maybe 5.
Depends on if Embiid plays.
Yeah.
Or if Tatum plays. No, I'm just kidding. I know we said
exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
No, I think the Knicks are a class or 2 above the Sixers.
Yeah. So it would be Maxey, VJ, Tatum, PG, Embiid, or Drummond.
Good starting lineup
against Brunson, Bridges, OG, Johnson, Katz, with Josh Hart coming off the bench. So yeah, I'll take the Knicks in 5 also.
Yeah, I would say 5 or 6, not 4.
Yeah. I'm adding Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm not adding Jalen Brunson. With
the Knicks won.
Oh, duh. So am I adding Embiid, or am I adding Tyrese Maxey? I think you got to go Maxey given Embiid's injuries too much. Yeah, but like, am I concerned about the defensive backcourt of Brunson Maxey? Absolutely, but that's but like
you guys
we make up for it in the front court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, Maxey will join the Knicks. So which makes it would be the Pistons. So it would be Cade, Mitchell. We're gonna start Robinson, or we're gonna start Asar? I think we'll start Asar for defense. Even for at the 3. Paulo, Duren versus Brunson, Maxey. I think we'll move Bridges to the bench. OG, Johnson, and Cat.
I would take the Knicks here.
I would take the Knicks here as well.
Yeah.
They got better. The Pistons are better on defense, but you still have OG and a very good bench defense. So, I'll take the Knicks for sure. Do you go with Cade? Do you go with Jalen Duren? Do you go with Asar Thompson? What do we think?
I think you go with Cade. You don't overthink it.
Probably. Do you put him at the 3?
Yeah, you figure it out.
Or do you put him on the bench? It would be.
If anything, I would put Maxey on the bench.
Yeah, I was going to say you put Maxey on the bench, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I know that's a tough one, but yeah, there's a little more lopsided than I initially thought it would be. But so the starting 5 of the Thunder would be. Yeah, so we're in the finals now. So it would be SGA, Booker, Ant, LeBron at the 4, and then Chet at the 5. With their bench being Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort. Would it be AJ Mitchell and then iHeart as their backup center? The Knicks would be. I think what are we gonna do? We're gonna put. Are we just gonna start the 3 guards, or are we gonna move Max to the bench?
I'll do Maxey to the bench.
I'll do Max. I think we'll do Max to the bench. So yeah, we'll do Brunson, Cade, OG, Johnson, Cat, with the bench being Maxey, Hart, Mitchell Robinson, Bridges, and I guess Deuce McBride would be the other guard, and then just put
who's the 3 on the Thunder?
Ant.
This is what I thought.
Was it?
I said the Thunder last series. I low-key am regretting it, and maybe the Wolves give the Thunder a run for the money. I'm still taking the Thunder in this series, though.
I'm taking the Thunder pretty easily, honestly. I feel like they're smaller than they were before, but do you need you still have Chet as the starting center? Who Chet versus Cat would be fun. You got
the bench on the Knicks is better though.
The bench on the Knicks is probably a little bit better. Yeah.
And they seem to have, like, outside of the Brunson and Cade duo, they seem to have, like, a relatively, like, I don't know, more balanced starting 5. Not better, obviously. Like, I think the Thunder are better, but I don't know.
I think if you go experience and you go overall talents, it's tough to overcome both talent and experience.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that debatably the Knicks roster construction is better, but I don't think the Thunder roster construction is that bad at all. I know you have 3 guards, but at the end of the day, what Shea's 6'4", all 3 of those guards are over 6'4", so it's not like you're going completely undersized. And at the end of the day, yeah, like I know the Chet's better at power forward. He's still an elite rim protector, whether he's a center or a power forward. So yeah, I'll go Thunder. Yeah, we'll go Thunder. So not much of a surprise here. We'll do more of this over the summer for sure. Like we'll definitely do the 2025 and 2024 playoffs, and we'll do other playoff rounds. But yeah. This definitely was fun. But this was fun just because like it's about predicting. This will be going back into history and looking at it. So definitely looking forward to that. But I'm assuming that the Pistons closed it out. They did. Yeah, they ended up winning by 10. They won by 10. Donovan Mitchell was a -1, by the way. So I will be sending in the Theo Ash, not his fault meme to Donovan Mitchell. So all right. So all right. So yeah, this is great. It's a bit longer. By the way, guys, I just went on the YouTube channel. The last time the 3 of us were together, I believe was it was the March Madness special. Actually, that was the last time we were all together.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was that long ago. The last time that it was just the 3 of us though was the trade deadline recap. So that's how long it's been. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But all right, so yeah, this has been another.
Love the Vooch move.
Oh yeah. And by the way, guys, I am gonna say, even though the 3 of us haven't been together all this time, the podcast was these past 3 months was the best podcasting was the best podcasting I've done. My favorite 3 months that I've ever done the podcasting, and it has nothing to do with that.
Thanks, man.
By the way,
Chris is doing his Jaylen Brown impression.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. In case no one else got that. But anyway, thanks for tuning in to another show.
That was good, Chris.
Thank you very much. So I will say that both Bill Simmons and Nick Wright made that joke already. So but anyway, so make sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Morgan Hooper on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Be sure to check me out on Wednesday nights. Whoever service everyone. Be sure to check out sportsloons.com for other content. And this has been another episode of the Morgan Hoops podcast. Until next time, keep grinding and stay hooping. Have a great night, everyone.